Check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Shabbat shalom to you all. We are here once again here at Just a Word for yet another teaching. And as I was telling our Zoom meeting, our Zoom group here, this is a special one today. Please sit out everything. There is so much that comes in this one. And a reminder how the teachings come. This one came. You don't know what is coming. You'll get a little verse here, get a verse here. You have a conversation here, a conversation there. Dream here, then everything just fits in. And then when putting the teaching together, you just post verses. To me, it gives me the verses, and it is when I'm getting the verses, I'm getting what he's saying to us. It's not me getting down here and saying, okay, I'm going to speak on this, and let me see this. No, it's more complicated than that. And so I didn't really get the understanding of what this was saying until I started this on Monday. Started coming to me on Monday. And I didn't get the understanding until, was it yesterday, I got what he was actually saying. And this was the first week in a while I haven't done any shorts, because the week was dedicated to getting these insights, the understandings into it, and it is very profound. Please listen. Please listen to this one. All right. Okay. So this is called the Condemnation of Self-Deception. Why you need a chosen teacher. And I am not by any means telling you that I am a chosen teacher, nor am I using this to promote myself. I'm just giving you the message that the Most High gave. You will have to know and prove for yourself. You will have to know and choose for yourself who is right for you, who is a chosen teacher. Yeah. You have to know for yourself, but I'm giving you the message that he gave. Yeah, the message that he gave. All right. So first of all, we want to look at the state of us as believers today. Because as believers, especially those who are followers of the way, our belief is heavily concentrated on social media. And the evidence today is in this, that you're coming from the same order, social media, YouTube. It's bringing in the teachings, because the concept of the church has been so grossly diminished, because people, especially since 2019, the pandemic, people got used to not being in church. And so online was the way that we meet. Okay? So online was the way that we normally meet. So we have to look at the state of the believer today. The social media believer. Here is the problem with social media. We have the problem of people roving all over, because there are so many people there who are teaching, so many people there who are preaching. People run to and fro to listen to that one. We pick a little from that one, we pick a little from that one. That's the state of social media today. And this, let me tell you, social media was set up to destroy the believer. When I get the understanding of this teaching today, you realize how social media was set up to destroy us as believers, to bring us astray. So everyone is given a profile in social media, so everyone can become an influencer. Everyone can become someone that someone looks to, someone that people run to for information, for words. So the Bible, for example, tells us, I forbid a woman to teach or usurp authority over a man. Social media is loaded with women. They now have the opportunity, all right? In the assembly, they don't want me to talk, all right? All right? On the internet, no one can stop me. So the women are sinning on social media, setting up profiles, leading men. I was looking at a conversation yesterday, and I really had to look if that was a woman. The woman was speaking with so much authority and speaking down to the man as if the man is a little boy, a little baby. Yeah? This is what happens with social media. It causes us to err. Now, another thing is monetization. Monetization on social media means that we can make it into a career. Yeah, we enjoy preaching, we enjoy teaching. We can make it into a career. We don't have to work. And because of that, the word is distorted. People who can speak or who might have some knowledge, who might not necessarily be led by the ruach, now can set up themselves as influencers and be leading people. Error again. So money becomes the driving force behind many people who are on social media. Everybody setting up their accounts different places and publicizing their accounts. Remember to donate, remember to this, remember to that. Okay? Some people now even setting up what they call online universities, varsities, in which they are teaching you, and then you have to pay them to teach you. Okay? So like, just a word, we are here. We just teach. All right? Anything, the word that comes to us, we just speak it. They will have certain things that are just available to people who subscribe. And then they even have different levels of subscription in which they differentiate. Yes? So you might have a beginner's level where they just teach you beginner stuff. Then they have a higher level where you now can go into their circle and get more closer contact with them. You have to pay for that. Okay? And the Bible says equal weights, equal measures. There's nowhere we're supposed to be having differentiated layers of charging people for anything, for the same thing. All right? So what happens again, that social media has become a madhouse in which everyone is teaching everyone. Now, I have been saying it for the past few weeks. It seems as if everyone wants to teach me. Yeah? It seems like for the past few weeks I've been saying to people, and even saying to those people who are trying to teach me, I'm saying, why is everyone all of a sudden trying to teach me? All of a sudden people, they become friends with you, and the first thing is in your inbox, scriptures upon scriptures teaching you this, and I'm like, what is this? And this is what social media does. It removes all respects, it removes everything, it makes everyone be equal. That's not how the Most High is. With the Most High, yes, you are equal, but there is an order. So when I'm talking about equality, I mean in terms of order. So now, someone will say to you, oh, that was a great teaching, brother, and whatever. And then they start to teach you. That's what social media does to you. So therefore, it ends up in one big thing where you have quarrels, you have conflicts, you have reaction videos, because there is no order. And because the people who are teaching, people who should be learning in subjection, are there teaching. So as soon as someone starts to learn something, all of a sudden that person becomes a teacher. You haven't even started to learn. One of them, I had to ask them, are you a teacher? And I said, no. Then I said, how are you teaching me? If you are learning, you learn. You learn in silence. If you have questions to ask, you don't come and teach a teacher and you're just learning. This is what is happening, destroying. Social media is destroying the modern believer. We're going to go to the depths of it and get more insights. This teaching here, very, very insightful. So it's hard to tell who are the true teachers because there's no respect for the teachers. Now, having the Just the Word Shorts channel has been very revealing to me. Some people come on and they are so lacking. So very lacking. And when they come on to you, they start attacking you. I mean, like, no respect. And then you, being the teacher, you cannot really even tell them what you could tell them about how deficient they are. That they should just close their mouths and sit and learn. Yes? And so, it becomes an all-round den or bed of confusion. And the people do not know that they are destroying themselves. They do not know. They think that they are going around and learning here, learning there. And by the way, by going around learning here and learning there, actually doing, they are actually picking and getting the word, getting the knowledge of the word, but the word is not doing what it is supposed to do in them. We're going to get at that. So these are people who are getting knowledge, but they do not, the word is not changing them. So they remain the same. So that is why they will be so aggressive, quarrelsome, love conflicts, arguments. Yes? And these mostly are people, when you go on their social media profile, you see like DANY 75437, whatever. When you look on their profiles, no subscriber, one subscriber, and they might be on there for even years. Some might just make up a profile now, and they just go and attack with the profile because nobody sees them, nobody knows them, they don't have an identity, so they can say and do anything they want. Yes? Sinning against the Most High and don't know it. Let me tell you something, this social media, just follow, just continue please. Yada Yahuwah. I just took my social media page down this morning. Most I thank you. This confirmation of the word, my brother. Yes. No, so we're going to look into the depths of it now, scripturally. We're going to look into the depths of it. Let's look at condemnation, because we're talking about self-deception. We're going to go into that, and you're going to get an understanding of what I'm talking about. Condemnation, no condemnation. Yeah? No condemnation. The Christians love this one. Romans 8, verse 1. There is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Hamashiach Yahusha, who walk not after the flesh, but after the ruach. Christians love to say this one, that when you have your JC, there is no condemnation in you. But that's not what the verse is saying. It says there is no condemnation to them which are in Hamashiach Yahusha, who walk not after the flesh, but after the ruach. They forget that part. They forget that part. Who walk not after the flesh, but after the ruach. That is where there is no condemnation. But if you do not walk after the spirit of good, sin presents itself. And now, the fact that I do it, and I don't want to do it, it is not I that do it, but sin that dwells in me. So the law of sin and death is sin that dwells in us, because we have been given the wages of sin, which is death. And through the penalty of death on Adam, we all sinned, so we are led to death. So that law of sin is sin in us, leading us to death. But when we have the ruach of Hamashiach, then we overcome it and we have life eternal. So no condemnation to those who walk not after the flesh, but after the ruach. But there is also condemnation to those who are also believers. And this is another thing that the Christians have to understand. There is condemnation to believers. Before I move my ugly self from there, let me tell the Christian man this. There is condemnation to you when you're a Christian, when you're a believer, no matter what you believe in, no matter what you call yourself. Yes? And let's see. Not this one, this ugly one there. Yes. Matthew 7, 21 to 23. Condemnation to believers. Not everyone that saith unto me, Master, Master, shall enter into the kingdom of Shamayim, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in Shamayim. Many will say to me in that day, Master, Master, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works. Yes? And then will I profess unto them. Now here comes the condemnation. These are believers, right? Here comes the condemnation. And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. So, these are believers. They are working iniquity and thinking that there is no condemnation for them. And are going to be shocked because the gifts of Alua are without repentance, and they will be prophesying, and they will be casting out devils, and they will be doing many wonderful works in their sinful state, thinking that the manifestation of gifts is an indication that they are on their way to the kingdom, not knowing that they are condemned because they are not walking in the ruach, but in the flesh. I want you to understand this. Yes. Not knowing that they are walking in the flesh and not walking in the ruach. Yes? So, what could make them move from no condemnation up there to condemnation up there? What makes the difference? It's sin. It is sin. What could make us move from no condemnation to condemnation? It is sin in the guise of self-deceit, deceiving ourselves. Now, they had deceived themselves because they were workers of iniquity, but because of the manifestations of gifts, they had deceived themselves that they had no sin. They deceived themselves. And we just need to look at why they were condemned. Why did they deceive themselves? 1 John 1:8. If we say that we have no sin, we deceive ourselves. Deceive ourselves is self-deceit, self-deception. If we say that we have no sin, we deceive ourselves. We are tricking ourselves, fooling ourselves. And the truth is not in us. This is what they did. Let's go back here. This is what they did. They tricked themselves, fooled themselves that they were on their way to the kingdom because the gifts were manifest to them. And so they didn't pay attention to the fact that it is the ruach, walking in the ruach, that gets them in the kingdom, not the manifestation of the gifts. Let me say it again. It is walking in the ruach that gets us into the kingdom, not the manifestation of gifts. I could be the greatest teacher here and walking in sin. You think the Most High is going to let me into that? No. So I have to focus on walking in the ruach. Totally, 100%. So let's look at what it means to deceive ourselves. Deceive. The word deceive there from the Thea lexicon says to cause to stray, to lead astray, to lead aside from the right way. So we deceive ourselves, which means we move astray from the right way, telling ourselves that we are walking in the right way. Telling ourselves that we are walking in the right way. Deceiving ourselves, tricking ourselves, fooling ourselves. So, if someone comes to us and tries to correct us, it is futile. Because we ourselves are convicted and convinced where we are. This is the social media believer today. Because the believers before this, they used to gather in assemblies under an order. And in that order, there was a leader. And so the leader could do the corrections, make the corrections. They could reprove, rebuke, with all long suffering and doctrine and exhort. They could do that. But now the average social media today, the average believer out there, and I'm speaking to you who are listening to this, is a renegade who goes about, does his own thing, and sets his own standard of righteousness, and sets his own standard of what he believes or what he obeys or what he follows. Yes? Deceiving himself. Most of us out there on social media are self-deceived. Because most people cannot speak to us. We cannot be corrected. And even if we are corrected, we don't even pay attention to it or try to change. So we lead aside from the right way. Remember, we are followers of the way. So if we deceive ourselves, it has no lot nor part to do with a follower of the way, because a follower of the way has to be led from truth to truth in the right way. So if we are led astray from the way, then we are not followers of the way. To go astray, to wander, to roam about. This is what happens to believers on social media. We have a pandemic, not plandemic, like what these folks give us. This is a pandemic of believers who are roaming about, wandering about, going astray, from here to there, picking here, picking there, running here, running there, run to this teacher, run to that other teacher, deceiving their own selves. Because many of them will not allow themselves to be corrected. You cannot try to correct them or else you get a tongue lashing. If you watch how Hamashiach spoke to his disciples at times, not only from the Bible, but from other books, books of the Nazarene and other books that record when the Messiah spoke, you will see that he was like a soldier with some recruits. Was not always nice. Yes? Let me continue. A, to lead away from the truth, to lead into error, to deceive. This is what's happening to believers today. When you're running around, roaming about, you are being led away from the truth. That is why so many people have been caught up in Yahusha is Yahuwah and lunar Sabbath and Old Testament only and all sorts of things. To be led into error. Move myself here. To be led aside from the path of virtue, to go astray to sin. So we are living in sin because of our roaming about. And we are being led astray. And we are deceiving ourselves. Many of us. Because when people try to point out sin, go back to 1 John 1:8. If we say that we have no sin, we deceive ourselves. When people try to point out our sin, we give the people who are pointing it out a tongue lashing. We won't even allow people to point out our faults. And if you understand the truth of it, that we must be looking for a new heavens and a new earth, and in that new heavens and a new earth, where there is righteousness, we must be found of him, as it says in 2 Peter 3, without spot, and blameless. So if people point out our errors, yes, if people point out our errors, we should be congratulating them because they have put us one step closer to being without spot and blameless. The Strong's definition: properly caused to roam from safety, truth, or virtue. You see what's happening on social media? You just want to look at this word deceive and you understand it. To roam. Cause to roam from safety. You think these people who set up these social media things, you think they do it just by chance? It is Hasatan in charge. It's Hasatan. He set it up to cause us to err. But what we have to do when we are on social media now, we have to know the Most High's order and try to bring people in, use social media for our benefit. Because don't think I'm saying that it is not beneficial. Without it, most of us would be scattered and lost more than we are. So what we have to do, we have to allow to let social media bring us now into the Most High's way, use social media as the tool for us to get together and then bring us now into the way of the Most High. Not let social media keep us where we are comfortable, but to bring us now into the way of the Most High so that we can be under the order of the Most High, so that Matthew 7:21-23 cannot come to us. Many shall say unto me in that day, didn't I prophesy in your name? That would not go with us if we go in the order of the Most High. Because the Most High is not the author of confusion. And that verse, when it says Yahusha is not the author of confusion, what did he say? As in all assemblies of the saints. The saints must be assembled together. Must. This roaming around and roving on social media, foolishness. They must be assembled together in one order. Properly caused to roam from safety, truth, or virtue. Go astray, deceive, err, seduce. You need to look at the meaning of this thing here. Wander. All of these things, that's what's happening to us and destroying the believers. Right now, this Yahusha is Yahuwah is sweeping through believers. As it says in Daniel 7:25. We are seeing Daniel 7:25 going right through right now, and Revelation 13. I think it's about 5 or about 8. Yes? The saints shall be given into his hand. Yeah? That's what's happening today. I'm watching all of these prophecies being fulfilled. Seduce, wander, be out of the way. Hey. So, when people come to correct us, this is what happens to us. Because when they correct us, when I, for example, correct someone, a lot of the times the person runs away from me. They never come back. Or they go somewhere else. So saying we have no sin, what do you think happens to us? We will be religious, but still walking in sin. So what is this doing so still? Let me get this thing moving. Sorry about that. Hold on, please. Okay, live now. Yes. So, saying we have no sin, we will be religious, going through paces, religious paces, having the appearance of godliness. 2 Timothy 3, verses 1-17. We're going to do a complete sweep, I think. 2 Timothy 3. Saying we have no sin. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. This is the days that we're in. For men shall be lovers of their own selves. So, when We, for example, see people who are lovers of their own selves. We can't even tell them. If you tell them it's a world war. When they are covetous, you cannot tell them. They are boasters. They are proud. You cannot even tell them. Look at the state of social media. You see this teaching here today. It brings out so much. I wish I had the time to speak on everything that it shows up. When you look at the state of social media today, for example, the YouTube channels, it's all about debate. It's all about pride. And then the titles is John Brown Assembly destroys Christians. John Brown Assembly destroys Hebrew Israelites. This and that destroys, brings that to shame. It's all prideful titles. It's all pride, and this one battling this one. And then when they come out of the debate, this one says, I destroyed you, and this one does a video and said, I destroyed such and such. And then the other one does a video and said, I destroyed such and such. Everybody bragging rights. Yes? I saw one of them saying, well, if you're not a PhD scholar, we are not going to debate you. Yes, we don't debate people. We have to debate. It's all about pride, boasting. This is happening evident today. Yes? Social media. Remember, we are not saying social media is all bad. We are telling you what is happening today so you are aware, and then we're going to tell you what you need to do, as the Most High has showed me. Blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection. We could go into each and every one of us, but for time we won't. Truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of Elohim, having a form of godliness, a form of holiness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. So these people who refuse to be corrected, because we need correction, because what? We are sinful men with a sinful nature. Yes? So because we have that sinful nature, the law of sin is in us. Sin needs to be pointed out in us. If we refuse, we will remain with all of these traits up here, going up, and we will have an appearance, a religious appearance. We will look and appear religious and speak religious, but the power that is in it, and the most important power that is in it, is the power of what? The power of transformation. So the power of transformation that is in it cannot transform us. Yes? We are stuck and cannot be transformed. Let me continue. For of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women laden with sins, led away with diverse lusts. So this does not necessarily have to be speaking literally. It can mean that women with diverse lusts who do not want to move away from sin, many of us will have our organizations, our churches, our assemblies attract these women or these people who just want to say or to think that they are serving the Most High, but they also deny the power. So these people will be ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. How can you be ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth? Because you deny the power of the word, which is the power to transform. So you hear this today. Yes? And it is a word of transformation. You reject it. Yeah? Because you are what? Self-deceived. You have deceived yourself that you are okay. You don't need change. And so you keep learning. And you keep learning. And you keep learning. But you cannot come to the knowledge of the truth because the truth requires a change in this. And this refuses to change. So but there's always learning. Always learning, and you will never be able to understand the truth. Now, as Jannes and Jambres withstood Moses, so do these also resist the truth. Men of corrupt minds reprobate concerning the faith. So our minds will be corrupted because we do not want the truth. We do not want to move away from sin because our sinful nature has us captured and the law of sin is at work in us, making us love sin, not wanting the truth, to move away from truth and to walk in newness of life. Because of that, our minds are corrupted. Seared conscience. So when we hear right and wrong, we cannot differentiate right from wrong. All we can see is what we want to do and what we think is right. And as a result, we are reprobate, which means we are rejects concerning the faith. I'm telling you, this teaching today, I hope I'm able to bring it out. I keep saying it. There is so much to it. But they shall proceed no further, which means you're stuck. And when you're stuck, guess what? You are in the condemnation of, let me go back there. You stuck in the condemnation of, let me move myself from here. Matthew 7, I can just go here, shift here so that I can say Matthew 7, 21 to 23. You will be stuck in that condemnation because you refuse the truth. You refuse to walk in the way of truth. Yes? Let me continue. But thou hast fully known my doctrine. Here we go. This is the need for a teacher. This is why you have to listen to not only your teacher, but to others around you. You have to listen to criticism. People can see you more than you can see yourself because a lot of people you say, you don't know me more than I know myself. Yes, I know different aspects of you more than you know yourself because there are aspects of you where you have deceived your own self. And I can see it, but you cannot see it because you are walking in self-deceit. So you have deceived yourself that this is not so when I can see for myself and hear and understand that it is so. So you have to listen to others, especially a teacher who is set over you, whose job it is to watch for your soul, who will be looking at the deficiencies and trying to correct you. So here Shaul speaks now. He says, but. So with all that was said before, he's saying, but thou hast fully known my doctrine. So you have to listen to the doctrine of the teacher. The manner of life. These are things, though, that I'm telling you, that these are the things that you watch to know if there a teacher is a set apart, called, chosen teacher. Yeah? Look. Because you have teachers out there. So many teachers out there, and I see them and I say, man, these people are lucky. Man, these people, their lives are nice and comfortable and all of that. I don't want to say they're lucky, they're unlucky, because if you're living like that, then something is wrong. But look at what a true teacher, what defines a true teacher. But thou hast fully known my doctrine, manner of life, purpose, amonah, faith, long suffering, love, patience, persecutions, afflictions, which came upon me at Antioch, at Iconium, at Lystra. What persecutions I endured, but out of them all, Yahuwah delivered me. This is how you know. Set apart teacher. The life of a set apart teacher is going to be a living hell. It's not going to be comfort. These are the people the Most High has sent to direct you and to make you escape out of all of this. These are the buts. Yea, and all that will live holy in Hamashiach Yahusha shall suffer persecution. So you too, if you're not suffering persecution, something is wrong. But those who are self-deceived will protect themselves from persecution, because they do not want persecution. You see, so many people, we have been grown in the way of Babylon. And the way of Babylon is to seek a comfortable life. We have been conditioned from we were young, from we were children, to strive out the most comfortable life there is. That's it. And so we go to school to try to be the best student so that we can fit into their system as doctors and lawyers and politicians and accountants and, you know, the PhD level people, scientists, whatever, the most, yeah, so that we can be paid handsomely, so that we don't have to suffer at all. When we are become believers, we fall into the same mold. We fall into the same mold. We strive to go through without persecution, without any problems. All we worry about is problems. While it is problems that perfect us. Yeah? All that will live holy in Hamashiach Yahusha will suffer persecution. So holiness is directly correlated to persecution, suffering persecution. So without persecution, there is no holiness. Without holiness, there is no kingdom. But the self-deceived is going to deceive their own selves and avoid persecution, avoid suffering. But this is contrast now with the holy. This but here is contrasted with this. So all that will live holy will suffer persecution. But evil men and seducers, these are those who avoid this, shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. So if we are self-deceived, avoiding suffering persecution. So for example, when we say flee out of the midst of Babylon and people want to flee, I'm telling you, man, people know that Africa is the land. They don't know exactly where the land is. They know that Africa is the land. So guess what? They're trying to find the most comfortable place to go. Hey, Satan knows what you're thinking. And he says, you know what? Let's make it comfortable to them. Send them to the wrong place. Yes. So the wrong places are the places that are accepting you in this time. They know that the time is up, our 400-year captivity is up. They know that our people will be wanting to return to the land. What do? They have places where they gladly accept you. But where they accept you, while they accept you, they snare you. You see this? Let me get this thing here. See how I get my face here. You see this? You got it. Let me see. This. Anywhere you're going, and they require you to be punctured. Sorry for you. You see, I'm telling people here. I tell people where the Most High sent me. I cannot tell you where He did not send me. And one of the first things when the Most High showed me where to go, first thing I said, no, I'm not going anywhere there is no, where they are asking you to, yeah. And so I made sure. And then when I heard where he sent me that it was not so, I said, yes, this is confirmation. The Most High would not send me somewhere where the beast is asking me to put something, whether no matter what they call the sickness it is for, he's not going to ask me to put that in my arm to go there. Y'all people, wake up. Wake up! Let me continue. Why this Facebook? Always disconnecting. It's so, hey. Oh, it's connecting. It's going on and off. Anyway, let me not pay attention to that. Let me get back to the job. But continue thou in the things which thou hast learned and hast been assured of, knowing of whom thou hast learned them. Hear this now. You see this? Many times we pay attention to 2 Timothy 3. It's only about men shall be lovers of themselves. Look at the meat here. Continue thou in the things which thou hast learned. Learn from who? From the set apart teachers of the Most High. The teacher that he has given you. And hast been assured of, knowing of whom thou hast learned them. Who did you learn it from? You're going around on the internet and picking up here, picking up there. Learning from this, learning from there. Who did you learn it from? Did you learn it from someone who has this lifestyle here? Do you know the person's lifestyle? The word says, try the ruach, if it is of Yahuwah, for many false prophets are gone out into the world. Try Kazakh, if he's a false teacher. Try the ruach with me. Yes, if I'm a false teacher, run. Because if I'm a false teacher, I'm going to lead you away. Because that's what they do. Let me continue. And that from a child thou hast known the holy scriptures, which are able to make thee wise unto salvation through faith which is in Hamashiach Yahusha. So it's the scriptures that are key. All scripture is given by inspiration of Allah and is profitable for doctrine. Hear this? For reproof. So in order for you not to be self-deceived, you have to be able to take reproof, which is, let me get the exact meaning here. Reproof. Where is it? And it's profitable for reproof. Reproof. Conviction. Evidence. The next one is correction, which means a straightening up again. That is rectification. To bring you on the right path. For instruction in righteousness. So you must be able to take instruction in righteousness. The renegade believer today, you go on social media, who are you taking instructions in righteousness from? Who are you taking corrections and reproof from? Because most have realized, you know what most people have done? I don't need to assemble with anyone. I don't need they might call it a church. I don't need an assembly. Yes? I'll just go on Sabbath and just listen to XYZ. And that's it for me. Wrong. Where is the correction? Where's the direction? Where's the instruction? Where's the reproof? Where's the order? Where's the respect? Where's the submission? All of these are essential to salvation and to get you on the right path. All scripture is given by inspiration of Allah and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of Allah may be perfect, truly furnished unto all good works. So you need all of these. You need doctrine, reproof, and correction. You need instruction in righteousness so that you may be perfect. roving around on the internet, moving from here to there, listening to this video, that video. Yes? Hey. Let me continue. Much to go. So, when we are on social media now, when we are on social media, when we are on social media, we have no boundaries except the ones that we set. We have no one set over us. So we do what we want to do. So whatever word we want to hear, we hear it. And not only on social media, there are even people who are in groups, in assemblies, who are like this. So don't think it's just for people who are renegade, who are just on their own. We hear the word, and we do not do the word. Many of the times, we are deceiving ourselves that we are okay. This word does not apply to me. We cannot see it because we do not have someone who is seeing us, who is watching over our souls. The Most High gives us people to watch over our souls. And by the way, these people that the Most High give us, as Shaul had just shown us, let me go there. As Shaul had just shown us here, who will go through all of these people will be going through a strict, rigorous training, more rigorous than yourself. That is why Shaul says, we are made the outscoring of this world for you. So we go through a life of hell in order to keep you on the right path, but you, thinking that you are okay and you are good, you will hear the word and you don't think you need to do the word. These are those people who were condemned in Matthew 7:21-23. They heard the word and they justified themselves, saying that they have no sin. I have no sin. I'm good. Yeah. Until Hamashiach came, they were shocked to hear, "Depart from me, you workers of iniquity." So hearing the word and not doing the word, James 1:23 says, "For if any man be a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass. For he beholdeth himself, and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was." So you hear the word and you don't do it. It's similar to looking in the glass, and then when you leave the glass, you forget who you are. Because when you hear the word and you do not do the word, when you hear the word and you do not do the word, it makes no change in you. So there is nothing memorable that is riveted in your mind to transform you. So you forget what type of man you are. You forget the sinful man you are, because no change has been made to the sinful man to let him realize that he is sinful. Because he refuses to do the word. The word is given. So each week when the word comes here, the word is given to change us. So each week we should be changing, moving from faith to faith, changing and transforming ourselves. But when we hear the word and we don't do it, we remain stagnant. But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty and continueth therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed. So this is the man who walks in the Spirit, looks into the perfect law of liberty, corrects himself, accepts his imperfection, yes, being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work. he shall be barak in all his deeds. Compare it to the man who hears and does not do it. Yes? So, hearing the word and not doing, it's actually called hypocrisy. Hypocrisy. Being a hypocrite. So if I am here, week in, week out, coming here and preaching and teaching, and I am not doing that which I am teaching, that makes me a hypocrite. If you are here, there, and listening to the word, and you might hear the word, you might share the video with someone, or you might say something to someone in regards to anything, and you are not doing it, that makes you a hypocrite. We're going to look at hypocrisy and self-deception. Remember, self-deception is when you deceive yourself, when you trick yourself, which causes you to go in the wrong way, off the wrong path, to err, to sin, to divert from the path of righteousness, to go into the way of lies, in the way of truth, into deceit, into thinking that you are good when you're not. Matthew 7:5. Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye. This is hypocrisy right here. Now, I have a big fault, and I'm there correcting people. I have to get rid of my fault before I can go and correct people. I have to focus on myself first. I cannot be there looking on people, and this is a lot of us believers. We can see the deficiencies in others, but we cannot see the deficiencies in ourselves. How many times I've seen this happen? How many times? They go and they talk about such and such and such, and you can see that there's deficiency in there. They cannot see it. Hypocrite, what does it mean? Hypocrites, one who answers an interpreter, an actor, stage player. That's what hypocrite means. You are acting. A dissembler. What does dissembling mean again? Well, I can never remember this one. Pretender. Hypocrite. Let me get dissembler, please, because this one I remember very significant. Dissembler. Dissemble. To dissemble is to hide under a false appearance. So we'll have a form of godliness, as the word says. We will have the appearance that we are righteous, but we are hiding under a false appearance. To put on the appearance of, to simulate. So you'll be imitating. You'll be imitating a true believer. Yeah? Yeah. Strong's definition, an actor under an assumed character, stage player. That is hypocrite. Yeah. So, hypocrite and a self-deceiver. Coming up. Page 96. All right. Let me get there. So, hypocrites will perish. So, if you say the word and you do not do the word, yes? If you say the word and you do not do the word, it makes you a hypocrite. Hypocrites will do what? Perish. Matthew 24:50. Hamashiach was speaking about master and his servant, a parable. The master of that servant shall come in a day when he looketh not for him, and in an hour that he is not aware of, and shall cut him asunder and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So this is speaking about the servant who the Messiah has left in charge. We're going to look more of this in detail. That is why I only posted these two, because we're going to look at true believers, true leaders, true teachers, and what is required of them, and the danger of being a teacher. Yes. So as to what can happen if we as teachers do not do the right thing. So shall cut him asunder and appoint his portion with the hypocrites, which means that the hypocrites have a portion which is destruction, because there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Mark 7:6. He answered and said unto them, well hath Isaiah prophesied of you hypocrites, as it is written, this people honoreth me with their lips, hypocrite, but their heart is far from me, hypocrite. So if we honor with our lips, but our hearts are far from the Most High, well, it looks like rain will be falling. That would be a disaster with the noise. So if we honor with our lips, and our heart is far from him, that makes us what? Hypocrites. Howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. Self-deceivers will run away from the commandments of the Most High and gravitate towards the commandment of men. Let me say it again. Self-deceivers will run away, and I itch cause myself bleeding. Self-deceivers will run away from the word of the Most High and will worship the Most High with the doctrines and the commandments of men, which are more acceptable, which are nicer to the sinful man, which require less problems, less persecutions, less suffering, less stress, less problems, less everything. Yes? So they will play the hypocrites. They know the truth, but they avoid the truth and instead grab the lie. But sadly, hypocrisy comes naturally to man. And we're going to see the things that hypocrisy comes with. Look at this. There is no reason why hypocrisy, the disease of the day, Hamashiach here speaking, is calling hypocrisy the disease of the day. Remember, hypocrisy is closely related to self-deception. When we are self-deceived, when we deceive our own selves, we will be walking in hypocrisy. We'll be walking as actors, walking actors. There is no reason why hypocrisy, the disease of the day, should come so naturally to men. But which of you is not contaminated by it? So hypocrisy is widespread. Because when it comes on us, and we see the challenge that it brings, many of us will want to run away from it. Let me see if I can get this thing any better. All right. Okay. Da, 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 da. All right. So, there is no reason why hypocrisy, the disease of the day, should come so naturally to men. But which of you is not contaminated by it? How many of you are self-deceivers? Self-deception is synonymous with hypocrisy. How many of you are self-deceivers? Making excuses for these things. This is one of the things that self-deceivers do. When you try to correct self-deceivers, and here I'm not attacking anyone here, yes? Self-deceivers usually make excuses. for the errors. How many of you are self-deceivers making excuses for these things? How is it you can readily detect the small faults in others while being absolutely blind to your own much greater ones? How can you say to another, "Let me help you see more clearly," when you are practically blind yourself? You hypocrites and self-deceivers, first examine your own faults and failings before criticizing those of others. So the self-deceivers and the hypocrites will not be able to see their faults, no matter how big it is. This is why you need a teacher. When you have a set-apart teacher, the Most High will instruct those teachers and direct them to see your errors. Because in the book of Hebrews chapter 13, I think, and even if I'm changing and he keeps speaking, that means that the Most High wants perfection out of you. That means your calling might be a higher calling than you think. Because when the calling is high, the correction is also high. There are many things to correction. So first examine your own faults and failings before criticizing those of others. All right? So another shortcoming or another result of this hypocrisy and self-deception is that hypocrites and self-deceivers manipulate the word of the Most High to their own convenience. Because remember, it is the sinful man in them that does not want to move away from sin. And because he does not want to move away from sin, he is comfortable in sin and wants to remain in that place. So here's what the sinful man does. Here's what the hypocrites and self-deceivers do. Books of the Nazarene, chapter 9, verse 63. The words of Yahushua HaMashiach. I call upon men of goodwill to follow us. Men who wholeheartedly desire the light and oppose the way of darkness. It's the same thing I am saying. This is who we are calling. Men who hold of the people who come with physical force, swords, swords and fiery words. Here is who you must be afraid of. Those who will be your undoing are the hypocrites and self-deceivers who pay lip service only. They talk the talk. Every day that they're talking about the word, talking about Yahusha, talking about Yahuwah. They pay lip service only and manipulate the words of the Torah to accord with their convenience. To accord with their... So when you tell them about the word, for example, they will come to you and ask you, so what do you think about so and so? When you tell them, well, that is not the way I see it. I see it this way because such and such. And they go into some long, wordy, all sorts of things they come and tell you. Twisting and manipulating the words of the Torah to accord with their convenience. And then Mashiach said something very profound. He says, I will tell you this. Many will come, but few will be selected. Many will come, but few will be selected. The hypocrites and self-deceivers will be weeded out. This is why you need a teacher, that if you are hypocritical and you are self-deceived, that you can be shown up and so you can be changed. But without a teacher roving around social media on your own, without a teacher, you remain the same person. You think you're changed. You're going to be a hearer of the word and not a doer because you're not in the Most High's order. You're not in subjection. A soul that is without subjection is a soul that is sure to go to the lake of fire. Why? If you're not in subjection, then your sinful nature, the law of sin and death will be ruling you, and your sinful nature will let you do whatever is comfortable to it and will continue in sin, and you cannot end up being without spot and blameless. You cannot be perfect in the end. Now, because of all of these things, because of self-deception and the danger of it, as believers, we are in trouble. Because we are in the end time. And what is promised for the end time? The end time is prophesied to see the rise of the spirit of Antichrist, the spirit of error. The spirit of error, the spirit of Antichrist that is sweeping the world today. Yahusha is Yahuwah. Hey! Spirit of Antichrist. Go to 1 John 4, 1-2, you'll see that, or 1-3. Yes? Lunar Sabbath, spirit of Antichrist. Daniel 7:25, the changing of times and laws by the fourth beast. The spirit of Anti-Messiah is prophesied to be on the world in the end time at this time. Now, when you are out there now, on your own, roving the internet with all of these spirits of Babylon all around, all these dirty, foul spirits right at you, going at you, what do you think is going to happen to you? Hey, what do you think is going to happen to you? Do you think you're going to easily escape? The word tells us that they will be given into the hand of the beast. 2 Thessalonians 2, 6-12. The prophesied end time. 2 Thessalonians 2, 6-12. And know ye not, and now you know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. It's speaking about the lawless one, the anti-Messiah. Because the lawless one, let me show you something. Same Matthew 7 there. Let's go to the same Matthew 7. Let me show you something. The lawless one. Matthew 7, 21. 23. And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you, depart from me, ye that work iniquity. If we go to the ESV, it says, and then will I declare to them, I never knew you, depart from me, you workers of what? Lawlessness. Lawlessness. And we're speaking about the coming of the lawless one. The anti-Messiah, the Antichrist is the lawless, which will bring us into lawlessness. So Matthew 7, 21-23, if the spirit of anti-Messiah gets us, we are going to end up as being lawless. We are going to end up manifesting powerfully the powers of the Most High, and yet still end up as being lawless. So let's look at the coming of the lawless one. Let's go. And now you know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time, that is the lawless one. For the mystery of iniquity, ye workers of iniquity, right? Matthew 7:23, doth already work, only he who now letteth, who is the Most High, will let until he, the lawless one, be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the master shall consume with the spirit or the ruach of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him, anti-Messiah, whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. Anti-Messiah, Antichristos, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. So, this lawless one, and that is the spirit I'm telling you that is on this earth, I've never seen anything like this before, is coming with the deceivableness of unrighteousness. So Yahuwah is Yahusha. It's idolatry. It's deceiving people into thinking that that is the way to salvation. When the Most High told us in John 17:3, and this is eternal life, that they might know thee, the only true Alua, and Yahusha HaMashiach, whom thou hast sent. That is life eternal. To know the Father and the Son. And when you know the Son, and you know the Father, then He will bring you to the Father. Yes? So you first desire the Father, and the Father draws you to the Son. Don't forget this, I keep repeating it. Yeah? The Son says, no man can come to me, the Son, unless the Father first draw them to me. So when you're interested in life, the Father sees your interest, the Father draws you to the Son. Then when He draws you to the Son, and you walk after the Son, you abide in the Son, you walk like the Son, yes? You walk as He walked, then He will take you and lead you along the path through Ruach HaKadosh, the Ruach Amat, the Spirit of truth that will guide you into all truth and guide you to the Father. Simple. But they have been deceived to the deceivableness of unrighteousness. And that's why it says, wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, but with all thy getting, get understanding. When you understand what I just said, you will understand that this Yahusha versus is Yahuwah thing is foolishness. And there is no benefit in it. You have to know the Father and the Son. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth that they might be saved. So even though you're trying to explain the truth to them, they're giving you their one verses. You know, I think I have another video to do, because I'm seeing this one too often. The one that says, before Abraham was, I am. They are using that to say, he's saying that he was. The I am that he's saying is that the same I am that Yahusha said in Exodus 3:14, I think, when he said, I am that I am. Yeah? And some of these things are so silly and so spiritually, I don't want to say illiterate, spiritually dumb. To make us pick out words and matching words and not having understanding of where it's coming from or what. And also lazy. Because they see the words, before Abraham was, I am. Oh. And Yahuwah said in Exodus 3, I am. Eh? That means Yahusha is Yahuwah. Bam. Lazy. He said, and you shall seek me and find me when you shall search for me with all your heart. They don't want to search. They just want to match a few words and that's it. But not us here. Not just a word. We are divers. Deep divers. And each week we dive deeper and deeper and deeper. Yes? Verse 11. And for this cause, Alua shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie. That's Yahusha is Yahuwah. Strong delusion. Strong delusion. That they all might be damned, who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. And it shows that those who are saying Yahusha is Yahuwah, that they have pleasure in unrighteousness. Because in making Yahusha equal to Yahuwah, that takes away our accountability as men to be like Yahusha. Because saying it's Yahuwah who came down and walked as him. That means if I walked in less than perfection, I am good. Because it took the Most High to come and walk out perfection. So how can the Most High expect me to walk out perfection? This is a fallacy. Because the Most High made a man walk in perfection. A man who is filled with his ruach to walk in perfection before him. And before the whole world. And to show us example that we too. That's why last week we looked in that books of Natsaram and Yahusha said, as I am, so shall all men be. So shall my followers be, or something like that. Yeah? So we who love unrighteousness are happy to say Yahusha is Yahuwah, because we have pleasure in unrighteousness. Daniel 7:24-27, the promise of this anti-Messiah end time ruach. End time ruach. In the book of Daniel 7:24-27. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. This is the anti-Messiah. Antichrist, Antichristo. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. That is what is happening today in this world. I can't believe what is happening before my eyes when I see these prophecies just showing themselves out plain. The saints are being worn out. And what helps it? This renegade social media roving from spirit to spirit. When the word already warned us and said, try every ruach to see if it is of Alua. That's our warning. Try every ruach to see if it is of Alua, because many false prophets are gone out into the world, and yet still we just move from one false prophet to the other. Even sometimes we know that they are false prophets, we still continue to listen to them. Because they provide what? Entertainment. A lot of them provide entertainment. And shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. Lunar Sabbath. The Most High never changed this 7-day cycle from creation. There is nowhere in scriptures that show that he changed it. The lunar Sabbatarians come and they assume, oh, they changed the times at the time of such and such. Foolishness. So we now have to keep the time of the moon. Foolishness. The Most High swore in the book of Jeremiah chapter 31 verse 35 that would never ever change his ordinances of the sun and the moon and of the stars by night. Never. Never, never, never. And the sun and the moon were made on the 4th day. And he kept Sabbath on the 7th day. And he keeps Sabbath every 7th day. There is no record of him changing and starting over the week from the moon, sun and the moon. Because he started out, let me show you the thing. He started out, he said, let there be light, and there was light. Where did the light come from? He gave the light. The light is coming from him. Now, in the end, in the book of Revelation, he says, there shall be no more need for the light of the sun and the moon. He shall be the light again. So as it began, that is how it's going to end. So there's no changeover in the middle. It's the same cycle from now to the very end. It's not going to change his ordinances. And just how he started out as he giving the light, when the world is renewed, he is going to return and give the light. Anyway, and they shall be given into his hand the saints who, here's a colon here, which shows that what is before the colon is what after the colon is referring to. So, and when it says, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and the dividing of times, who are they? The saints. The saints are now being given into the hand of the anti-Mashiach, because the ruach of anti-Mashiach is rampant in this world. Give me a second, please. Yes, the ruach of anti-Mashiach is rampant in this world, wearing out the saints, and the saints are given into his hand. This is Antichristo. Antichristo, this Antichrist. Isaiah 14:13-14. The promised anti-Messiah. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Alua. I will sit also upon the congregation of the mount in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the cloud. I will be like the Most High. This is the Antichrist prophesied. And we are in this time right now. All you people are out there, you need protection. You're going to see. From this ruach. So there will be a great end time anti-Messiah, antichrist deception. Matthew 24, verse 4. And Yahusha answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive a little bit of people. Shall deceive many. There is going to be a great end time anti-Messiah deception. This is what is happening here. With the Yahusha is Yahuwah. It's an end time anti-Messiah deception. So this Messiah that they have is the same as the Most High. That's not my Messiah. Yeah? That's not my Messiah. My Messiah is the Son of the Most High. Verse 23. Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Hamashiach, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false messiahs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. So in the end time, these people who are doing fallacies, false, they are going to manifest great powers. Yes? And there will be false prophets, false people who are behind these. That's why the word says, try the ruach to see if it is of Alua, for many false prophets are gone out in the world. It has been happening then, from the time of Shaul, much less now. Much less now. Now is the time when it's so prevalent. Yes? Behold, I have told you before. So Messiah told us in Matthew 24:25, behold, I have told you before. So he told us twice in the same chapter to show you how critical it is. In verse 25, it says, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect, which means that it is going to be so tricky. You cannot stand up on your own against this anti-Mashiach ruach. I'm telling you. But this week that I've been together with this teaching here, I'm telling you, first week since we started Just a Word Shorts, and I haven't done a video. I've been going through this and looking through this because I like to take myself out of these things. But the Most High is showing me the responsibility that I have in these end times of what I'm called to do. I am called to lead the people away from this anti-Mashiach ruach, to guide the people against, to guard them against the end time fourth beast. That is why from where we were at the forefront, from the time of the pandemic, before we were telling them of this thing, this this arm thing. We were telling them of this thing that was coming before it came, and told them what it was before it came. We were warning people. We're always talking about the fourth beast, but many of our videos about the fourth beast, the end time fourth beast, have been taken down by these social media people. Yes? That is what I am called to do. To guide the people away from this end time deception. You have to find people. If you are finding find someone who is guiding you. Do not be on your own. You are going to face serious challenge. Serious challenge. Hey. So, they will come with doctrines of demons. And these doctrines of demons and devils will destroy the conscience. What did last week we looked on conscience? The doctrines of demons and devils will destroy the conscience. 1 Timothy 4 verse 1. Now the ruach speaketh expressly that in the latter times, these days, some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing ruachot and doctrines of devils. End time anti-Messiah ruach will bring with it seducing ruachot. These seducing ruachot are going to come. Yesterday, I saw a brother declare on Facebook, I am sorry, what did he say? I am sorry, something of the other. Yahusha is not Yahuwah. I replied and said, yay! Man, you should see the amount of vipers who were there trying to convince him to pull him back in. Seducing ruachot, seducing spirits, trying to pull him back in. Seducing spirits, trying to pull him back down into the spirit of anti-Mashiach. Coming in and showing all sorts of verses. Yahusha is Yahuwah. Yahusha. Seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. That's what it is. Speaking lies in hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. So, when we have these seducing ruachot, and you are listening to the doctrines of devils, yes? Many of them will be speaking lies in what? Hypocrisies, because they will be in what? Self-deception. Because their conscience will be seared with a hot iron, which means because they are not following the truth, because they are not obeying the truth, then they will not be responsive to correction. They will be not responsive to truth. Yes? And because they are not responsive to truth, their conscience is seared, so they don't have a good conscience, so they cannot respond to right or wrong. They cannot respond to correction. Revelation 18:1. And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his splendor. This is the state of now. This is why the anti-Messiah spirit is so rampant. We are at this time. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul ruach, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. This is what is happening here. This is why people are so powerless and being overwhelmed. They are in the midst of Babylon, under the power of every foul ruach, living under the habitation of devils, living with the devils, and in the cage of every unclean and hateful man who want to destroy us off the face of the earth. Yes? Giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. That is why you need protection. So, give thanks to the Most High. With all of these things that are happening, we are self-deceived, we are hypocrites, the Most High does not leave us without help. The Most High does not leave us without help. So what does he do? The Most High will set apart chosen teachers to protect his chosen from these deceptions. Again, I'm not telling you that I'm one of those chosen teachers. And I'm not looking to pile up people behind me. Yes? I'm going according to the teaching that I was taught. If you know me, I'm the last person. I don't really love... I'm telling you honestly. I'm not the person that loves a lot of people and love, have myself as any great leader or anything. I am a reluctant person doing this. I'm telling you, to be honest with you. I am the type of person who would prefer someone to be here and I'll be, follow easy, listening. But the Most High has shown me that's not what I called you to do. Yes? That's not what I called you to do. So the Most High will set apart chosen teachers to protect his chosen from these deceptions. Isaiah 30 verse 19. This thing is always so loud. For the people shall dwell in Zion, at Jerusalem. Thou shalt weep no more. He will be very gracious unto thee at the voice of thy cry. When he shall hear it, he will answer thee. So this Zion is telling us that this is the end time. And though Yahuwah give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. This is the mercy of the Most High for us. And thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, This is the way, walk ye in it, when ye turn to the right hand, and when ye turn to the left. So the Most High will give us teachers in the end time. And the teachers will correct us. Very important to those of us caught up in self-deception and hypocrisy. Those of us who are walking blind, not knowing that we are in error. The Most High said, your ears will hear a word behind you saying, This is the way, walk ye in it. When he turned to the right hand or when he turned to the left, he will send teachers to correct you, to steer you along the path. So many people that they thought, oh, I don't need you, I don't need anyone, I have the ruach. No. There are many ruachoth that have flooded the world. And if you do not walk in the Most High's order, then you will be left to those ruachoth. You'll be left to them. You will be hopeless against them. And you'll be thinking that you're over them. Oh, they can't overcome me, whatever. So the Most High will give you a teacher to direct you in the right way. Who is your teacher? That is the question. Can anyone explain the difference between ruach and ruachoth? Ruachoth is spirits. Ruach is spirit, singular. So ruachoth is the plural. Nathan. Is the plural. The oth makes the plural. Yeah. So let's go again to Yirmiyahu, chapter 3, verse 14. Turn, O backsliding children, saith Yahuwah, for I am married unto you. And I will take you, one of a city, and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion. This is where we're at now. We have our eyes set on Zion right now. What will happen then when our minds are set on Zion? And I will give you pastors or shepherds according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. Yes? Shepherds. Now, a sheep knows his what? Shepherd, singular. This is how it works. The head of the man is Hamashiach. The head of the woman is the man. Yes? When you are gathered in an assembly, Yahusha works through the assembly, through the pastor, the shepherd, the overseer that he sets. Yes? And the role of the shepherd is to guide you, to feed you with knowledge and understanding, but also, as it says in the book of Isaiah 30, to tell you which way to go and which way not to go. Yeah, that is the job of the pastor. So in the end time, the Most High will protect his chosen from these deceptions that we just listed before. Yes? So, without a chosen leader, we're going to look at the need for a leader. Why you must have a leader. Because mankind is there is no new thing in mankind. Yeah? We are men. Men have not changed. So without a chosen leader, let's go over to the right? Maybe you see it on the left. Let's go over to there first. Now Moses, Joshua led our people into the kingdom. The people could not lead themselves. So you cannot lead yourself into the kingdom. You have to be led. After Joshua or Yahusha died, Yahuwah appointed judges to lead the people. When the judges died, the people went back into sin. Whenever the judges were leading, the people were going in righteousness all the days of the judges. But as soon as the judges died, what happened? The people went back into sin. Go and read the book of Judges and you will see it. So if you do not have someone, let me get myself over here. If you do not have someone who is watching over your soul, it's going to be the same thing. If you do not have someone to correct you, to show you right from wrong, to say this is the way, walk ye in it. Yeah? If you do not have someone like that, then what is going to happen? You will go back into sin. Now, when they had kings, so first they had Moses, they had Joshua, they had the judges, and then they had kings. When they had kings, the righteous kings led them into righteousness. The unrighteous kings led them into sin. For example, we have this constant thing that we see in the Bible about Jeroboam, who led Israel into sin. 1 Kings 15, verse 30. Because of the sins of Jeroboam, which he sinned, and which he made Yasharal sin, by his provocation wherewith he provoked Yahuwah Alua of Yasharal to anger. Look at this very carefully. This. Jeroboam sinned and caused Yasharal to sin. If you have any leader, and that leader is a sinner, that leader is going to cause you to sin. That is why you have to evaluate the life of the teacher to see if this teacher's life is in order according to the Apostle Shaul when he spoke of you, but you know my life in persecution, in conflicts, in this, in that, and that. If the leader is sinning, because this is speaking of a king, but Yahuwah does not change, it's the same principle in the end. So if this leader is sinful, he's going to lead you to sin, and he's going to provoke Yahuwah. He's going to provoke Yahuwah to anger. So you are going to be there thinking you're walking in righteousness, not knowing that you are provoking Yahuwah to anger. So without righteous leaders up top, Yasharal perish. Before me. Judges 17 verse 6. In those days there was no king in Yasharal. And what happened? But every man did that which was right in his own eyes. Every man did that which was right in his own eyes. That's what happens on social media. That's what happens when you don't have a leader, when you don't have a teacher, you're roving from place to place. You are going to do that which is right in your own eyes. And remember, we previously said you are going to be self-deceived. You are going to be blinded, hypocritical, not knowing that you are in error. Because your sinful nature will not allow you to see it, because your sinful nature wants to wrap you up, walking in sin, walking, satisfying the flesh, and so will not allow you to see that you are in error. Hey. Now this morning I was reading the Testament of Abraham, chapter 27. I said, whoa, this has to do with today's teaching. I have to include it. This was the Most High speaking to Abraham, and it said, and he said to me, the time of the righteous meeteth them, first through the holiness flowing from kings and righteous dealing rulers, whom I first created in order from such to rule among them. What is he saying here? He's saying that righteousness begins with having a righteous ruler. And the holiness that is flowing from the righteous ruler will flow through to the people. This is how it is in an assembly having a teacher. The teacher has to be righteous so that the righteousness that he manifests will flow from him and flow to the persons who he is leading. But he gave us a warning. Yes? And but from these issue men who care for their interests, as I have made known to thee and thou hast seen. So there are going to be teachers, and from the teachers, there are going to be those who care for their interests. So you now have to do what? Try the ruach to see if it is of allure. For many false prophets are gone out into the world. So many people, they are going to be after their own self-interest. Look after the desire for filthy lucre. Look after the desire for money. Anytime you see people targeting money and putting money there, problem. Hey. You see, with us here, with me, us here, you only accept money from people who truly ask. We don't ask you. You have to ask us to show that you truly are being led by a ruach to give. Because money cannot be our primary motivator. It is the souls that we are interested in. And if we put money as a primary motivator, knowing the sinful nature gets stirred up by this desire, who knows what will happen? Yeah? So, without a chosen ruler, we are going to perish. And the Most High will set apart chosen teachers for us. Because we must have rule over our own ruach to be protected. We must have rule over our own ruach to be protected. Proverbs 25:8. He that hath no rule over his own ruach is like a city that is broken down and without walls. If I cannot control my spirit, my ruach, I am like a city that is broken down and without walls. Anyone can just run in and do whatever they want to do. Any spirit, any ruach can just run into me and do what they want to do. If I have no rule over my own ruach. And I was having a conversation this week with someone, and I was speaking about how we as teachers are to teach. We are to teach to enable people to have control, have rule over their own ruach. So that we are not there. The key is not us to be there telling you, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. It is for us to show you what is wrong so that your conscience will let you do that which is right. Which means you have rule over your own ruach, so you can direct your own ruach, not me having rule over you to tell you what you should or should not do. It is you having rule over your ruach to have the self-control that when you hear that this is wrong, then you stop doing it. Anyway, we'll get more into that. How many things we have left? Okay. This one is so important. I don't even know about the time. Although we don't have really long time left. Anyway. So, the Most High protects us when we have self-control. This is what we have to understand. Having rule over our own ruach, that is what? Self-control. The Most High protects us and He loves those who have self-control. Without self-control, We are going to be self-deceivers. We are going to so lack control that we are going to deceive ourselves in order for us to continue in the error that we are in. But when we have self-control, we can reject the error. Testament of Joseph, chapter 10, verse 2. You also, and for these books that we are speaking about, you can get them on our website, justaword.org/downloads. You also, if you pursue self-control and purity with patience and prayer with fasting in humility of heart, Yahuwah will swell among you because he loves self-control. And where the Aliyun dwells, even if envy befalls someone, or slavery, or false accusation, Yahuwah, who dwells with him on account of his self-control, not only will rescue him from these evils, but will exalt him and glorify him as he did for me. So he's saying that Yahuwah dwells with us because we have self-control. So you have to have rule over your ruach. Must. For Yahuwah to exalt you. Yes? So my job is to help you to have control, to have rule over your own ruach. Not for me to be with a whip. Yes? Not for me to be there with a whip, beating. It's for me to show you right from wrong, and then you yourself will be convicted of what is right and what is wrong. So we must have control over our own ruach, but guess what? Someone must have the rule over us. It's not enough to you for you to be on your own to say you have self-control. And what we're speaking about the new covenant, where the Most High has an order through Yahushua HaMashiach, and he sets this order. That's what we're talking about. No other time. New covenant, New Testament. So someone must have the rule over us. Let's go to the Blue Letter Bible. Someone must have the rule over us. Let me make sure it is on. Hebrews 13:7. Remember them which have the rule over you, who have spoken unto you the word of Yahuwah, whose faith follow, considering the end of their conversation. That's a big mouthful right there. Remember them which have the rule over you. What does it mean to have the rule over you? He did not say if they have rule over you. Remember them which have the rule over you. No, the word to have the rule, G223. Let's see what it means. To have the rule, it's the Greek word hagiomai, and it means to have rule over, to lead, to go before, to be a leader. So for those people who are roving the internet, going all over, who is your leader? To rule, to command. Who commands you? Obey them that have the command over you. To have authority over. Who has authority over you? That is the question you need to answer. Because someone must have the authority over you to safeguard you and protect you in this time that we are in. In the end time with the anti-Mashiach Ruach. Yeah? A prince of regal power, governor, viceroy, chief, leading as respects influence, controlling in council. Controlling in council. So this person will be able to speak counsel to you. This person will be able to speak counsel to you. Overseers or leaders of the assemblies. Alright? So these people lead over you. They are overseers. And they are leaders of the assemblies. Okay? Another meaning, used of any kind of leader. Use of any kind of leader, chief, commander. The leader in speech, chief spokesperson, to consider, deem, accounting. So who has this over you? Because this is necessary. So in addition to you having rule over your soul, someone has to have the rule over you. You must be in subjection. Okay? And it says, very important, I want you to look at this. It says, considering, let's go back to what it says, whose faith follow. Remember them which have the rule over you, which have spoken unto you. Where is it? Yeah. Which have spoken unto you the word of Alua. So those persons who are speaking unto you the word of Alua, these, the Most High said to have rule over you. Yeah. Whose faith follow. So the reason you obey them who have the rule over you, because the Most High will give them a faith that is exemplary, so that you can follow that same faith. So these people will be walking in the right path, in the righteousness, and you walking with them will be walking in the right path, because Yahusha will be leading them to lead you. Yahusha will be leading them to lead you. Because they will be walking in the faith of Yahusha as examples for you to follow. Now this one is very important here now. This part, I want you, whatever you're doing, listen to this part here. Whatever you're doing, listen to this part. Carefully watch this part. It says, considering the end of their conversation. What does it mean, the end of their conversation? What does the end of their conversation mean? Let's look. The end, G15:45. The end of their conversation. The end there means way of escape. A way out, exit, and egress. Applied figuratively to the way of escape from temptation. The issue referring to the end of one's life. Hebrews 13:7 refers not only to the end of physical life, but the manner in which they closed a well-spent life as exhibited by their spirit in dying. So what is it saying here? Considering the end of their conversation, considering the way of escape, considering their determination to whether life or death, they are going to follow the way of truth. And not only that, the way of escape also refers to fleeing out of the midst of Babylon. This is our way of escape. This is the way of escape that the Most High has shown us. And there are many people who come to me and they will ask me, where do we go? Who is your teacher? Because you're supposed to follow the way of escape of your teacher. So wherever the teacher is going, that's where you should be going. Yes? So let's look at their conversation. The end of their, where is it? Where is it again? The end of their conversation, the way of escape. The meaning of conversation, G391. Oh, that's not what I'm looking for. G391. Meaning of conversation. It is anastrophe. It means manner of life, conduct, behavior, deportment. So the very same way of escape, the same way of life that the teacher lives, you should consider it to follow it. That's why the Most High gives you the teachers to make you escape, because it is only this way of life, only way of escape that will make you overcome the end time anti-Messiah ruach. You cannot continue living in life as you are, because Babylon, that in which you dwell, is the habitation of devils, the hold of every foul ruach, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. So you are to follow the manner of life, the way of escape, the dedication to even death. Because this is where you have self-deception, because people are not ready and willing to give up everything. So because they are not willing to give up everything, they deceive themselves and ignore the truth and hear the word and do not follow the word, because they are not ready and prepared to go that far. Many people tell me that this what you're speaking is too hard. Why do you think we have been around for about, how many years have we been around? 7 years? And only 4,000 followers on this channel. Why? Nobody wants to hear us because of self-deception, itching ears. What we speak is not pleasant, but what do we speak? We are speaking eternal life. That is what we are speaking. Because we are deceived. We are deceived by religion. We are deceived by people telling us what we want to hear. And so we strive after people who say things that we want to hear. But what we preach here is not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear to be saved. Because that's what we want to hear as well. My life is striving after eternal life. That's it. Mark 10:42. Marcos 10:42. Let's see what it says. But Yahushua called them to him and said unto them, Ye know that they which are accounted to rule over the Gentiles exercise mastership over them, and their great ones exercise authority upon them. But so shall it not be among you, but whosoever will be great among you shall be your minister. And whosoever of you will be the chiefest shall be servant of all. For even the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister and to give his life a ransom for many. So we are looking at the other side of a teacher now, in that a teacher is not called to exalt himself over the flock. He is called to be a servant to serve, to minister unto the people. So whoever is exalting themselves as teachers, as leaders, you have to run from them. Whosoever will be great among you shall be your minister. Where next? So we'll go back to Hebrews 13, verses 17 to 18. Because the Most High here through Shaul continues to tell us that we must, verses 17 to 18. He said it in verse 7. He said, verse 7 he said, Remember them which have the rule over you. Then in verse 17 he went on to say, Obey them that have the rule over you again. But then he said something else. He said, and submit yourselves. This is what many people refuse to do and do not want to do. We come into the way, we realize that we can learn on social media. We realize that we don't have to submit ourselves to anyone. If we go, just pick from here, we come to just a word, and we listen to them on the Shabbat, and then we go about our business. Next Shabbat he sees us again. We are subject to no one. We are on our own. We do what we want to do. That is destructive. That is not what we are called to do. What does he say in Zephaniah 2? Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. It's a gathering. Going into Zion, it says he shall gather them into Zion. Gather, 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 gather. It's all about gathering. That is why the congregation did what in the wilderness? Gathered. That's why in the New Testament assembly, they gathered in assemblies, set apart assemblies. Submit yourselves. Why? For they watch for your souls. This is our job. My job is to watch for your soul. So if I see an error, I have to correct it. As they that must give account. Because we have to give account to the Most High for you. This is the hard part. The tough part is when people refuse to listen and you know that you have to speak and you're thinking in the back of your head, Yahuwah is watching. You have to speak. And you know that when you speak, you're going to be condemned. You know, many times people have condemned me. Oh, you condemn others, you this, you that. Yes? Because you're trying to point out errors. That's what I'm there for. Understand this teaching. You have to have somebody that does that. For your good. As they that must give account, we must give an account to the Most High. The Most High is here watching us. And I'm being marked. I've already gotten a whipping in the past for not watching over the souls of the people who were given to me. Yes? Because I take this thing lightly. Not understanding how serious the Most High actually is. That they may do it with joy and not with grief, for that is unprofitable for you. So when I'm correcting you, and you're making it grievous for me, this is saying it's unprofitable for you. Because the Most High is going to deal with you because you did not allow yourself to be corrected. Hey. Let me read it again. Obey them that have the rule over you, and submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls, as they that must give account, that they may do it with joy, and not with grief, for that is unprofitable for you. Pray for us, for we trust we have a good conscience, in all things willing to live honestly. These are the people who you must listen to. Those with a good conscience and those who are willing to live honestly in all things. And even when he was concluding, he said in verse 24, salute all them that have the rule over you. You see that? He's telling the people there, respect those who have the rule over you. And all the saints, they of Italy, salute you. Now, I was hinting on this earlier. You have to know the chosen teachers. The chosen teachers must and will teach the ruach of the law, the spirit of the law, so that our conscience guides us in right and wrong. Very important. These chosen teachers will teach the spirit of the law. They will ensure that your conscience will assure you of right and wrong. I was explaining to someone this week about the place of the wife and husband. What is my head doing here? The place of the wife and husband in the assembly. Let me get it here. I'm trying to get one with my face only. Yeah. So I was explaining to someone about the place of the wife and the husband in the assembly. Because this is something that is very much misunderstood. The head of the woman is the man. The head of the wife is the husband. But being an assembly, both of them, the assembly is the head of both of them. Because Yahushua HaMashiach is the head of the body, which is the assembly. Okay? Just listen to how it works. So because Yahushua is the head of the assembly and he's the head of the man, the role of the assembly is to teach the husband the way of righteousness so that he teaches and leads his wife in righteousness. So the assembly, so for example me, I am not here to dictate to a husband and wife how to live their lives. I'm not here to be doing do this, do that. I'm not here a boss. They are married. They are responsible for both of them. But when they are married, the two become what? One. So because the two become one, in the assembly, to us as leaders, they are what? One. Whoops. Yeah. They are one. And because they are one, they have one leader who is the man. So the man is to ensure that the woman is taught. That is why it says the woman must be quiet and ask her husband at home, because the onus on the husband is to be the one who is learning so that he can teach his woman the way of the assembly. There is no way the husband is supposed to be at loggerheads with the assembly. No way. Because Yahuwah is not the author of confusion. You cannot be in the assembly, have your wife. You and your wife are going according to different orders from the assembly. That is confusion. That is the way of the devil. That is what he enjoys. And he will use that to destroy the assembly. So how do I teach the husband to help the wife, to teach the wife, to lead the wife? It is through the spirit of the law. Meaning, the conscience of the husband has to be alive to right and wrong. So that I do not have to be going to the husband every time and telling him, this is wrong, this is right. You must do this, you must not do that. He must be taught what is right and wrong, so that in his mind, in his conscience, when he sees right, he does right. When he sees wrong, he avoids what is wrong, and he leads his wife likewise. In that way, they will both be walking in righteousness without the intervention of the assembly itself. And the assembly can leave them to live their lives in the assembly. Now, it is not saying that they won't have difficulties and issues that they don't come to the assembly with. When they have these difficulties, they will both come, if it needs both of them, or the husband will come and will get the advice of the leader or leaders of the assembly. That is how husband and wives work in the assembly, in righteousness. Yes? A personal leader must not be their pastor or teacher, must not be there bossing around man and wife in their thing. He's to show them this is wrong. This is the way. Walk ye in it. When you turn to the right or turn to the left, this is the way. That's the job of the teacher. Just want to put that one out so that people understand. All right? Reminder that any questions you can put in the chat. All right? Where am I now? So his chosen teachers will teach the spirit of the law. Romans 2:12. For as many as have sinned without law shall also perish without law. And as many as have sinned in the law shall be judged by the law. For not the hearers of the law are just before Yahuwah, but the doers of the law shall be justified. For when the Gentiles, which have not the law, do by nature the things contained in the law, these having not the law are a law unto themselves, which show the work of the law written in their hearts, their conscience also bearing witness, and their thoughts the meanwhile accusing or else excusing one another, in the day when Yahuwah shall judge the secrets of men by Yahushua HaMashiach, according to my good news. This is a mouthful, simply to say that when we are walking in the spirit of the law will be written in our hearts, and it will be our conscience that will be directing and dictating our responsiveness to right and wrong. When we hear right, our conscience will accept it and say, okay, this is right. When we hear wrong, our consciences will reject it and say, this is wrong. All right? And it is the same thing that I explained with the husband, to let their consciences be their guide. So we should not be walking, waiting every day to hear people say, this is wrong, this is right. What are we going to have there? We might have quarrels. Because when he says, this is right, this is wrong, you're going to look into it. And you're going to say, hey, this is not wrong. Why is he taking set on me? Why is he saying this? Why? But when your conscience is lively, and your conscience, you cannot go into the kingdom without a lively conscience. Because that is what it means to be walking in the Spirit. When your conscience is active, you yourself will correct yourself. You yourself will sit and say, man, I really have to repent. It's so wrong what I was doing. That is what we as teachers are charged to do. That is what we need to do. Not to be there saying, oh, it's wrong. Don't do that. Blah, 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 blah. No. So, self-deception and the spirit of the law. I think I might have to be cutting this short. It's too... How long have we gone? 2 hours and 18. All right. Self-deception and the spirit of the law. Purging the conscience through ruach, through Hamashiach. So, our consciences have to be purged. Why? Remember, if we are carnal, we will be self-deceived. When we are carnal, when we are in this, we are going to deceive ourselves to say that we are okay. Because we are not going to want to hear that we are not right. So we are going to deceive ourselves. So when we deceive ourselves, we need someone to purge that out of our system. And that is Yahushua HaMashiach. John 8, verse 9. John chapter 8, verse 9. And they which heard it, being convicted by their own conscience, went out one by one, beginning at the eldest even unto the last. And Yahushua was left alone, and the woman standing in the midst. So we know the story of the woman who was caught, they say, in adultery. But this part is what we want to get, this principle. They which heard it, being convicted by their own conscience. This is what we want. And they left. They didn't have anything to say because their consciences convicted them. This is where we need to be, people. If we are convicted by our own conscience, we will not have self-deception. We will not have self-righteousness. We will not have hypocrisy. Because when our conscience convicts us, then we will respond to that which is right and that which is wrong. Hebrews 9, 13 to 15, the conscience through Yahushua HaMashiach. For if the blood of bulls and of goats, and the ashes of an heifer, sprinkling the unclean, sanctifieth to the purifying of the flesh, how much more shall the blood of Hamashiach, who through the eternal ruach offered himself without spot to Alua, purge your conscience from dead works to serve the living Alua? So it is the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach, through his offering, that purges our conscience from dead works, from sin. And because of this, for this cause, he is the mediator of the New Testament, that by means of death, for the redemption of the transgressions that were under the first covenant, they which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance. So this transformation of the conscience to Yahushua HaMashiach, this is what ensures that we attain unto the promise of eternal inheritance. Nothing else. Our self-righteousness does not get us in there. Our self-deception does not get, it is purging of the conscience through Yahushua HaMashiach. And that conscience is purged when we believe in him and we start to do what? Walk as he walked. Think as he thinks. Romans 10, verse 4. For Hamashiach is the end of the law for righteousness to everyone that believeth. The end of the law there means the point aimed at. So the law aims at Hamashiach for righteousness to everyone that believes. And this belief, as we said before, transforms us and transforms our conscience. 1 Timothy 1, verse 5. Now the end of the commandment is charity out of a pure heart and of a good conscience and of faith unfeigned. And of a good conscience and of faith unfeigned. So this, let's look at this now. So Hamashiach is the end of the law. And then it's telling us now that the end of the law is love out of a pure heart and of a good conscience. Therefore, when we are in Hamashiach, he will lead us to love of a pure heart and of a good conscience. That is what we as leaders are called to do. To make sure that you have a good lively conscience. Not to be there whipping you every day, telling you that this is wrong, this is right, this is wrong, this is right, this is wrong, this is right. No. It is to tell you the truth and give you the word of truth, to convict your conscience, so that you, yourself, will be convicted of right and wrong. Which one is this now? Acts 24, verse 14 to 16, to show the importance of the conscience. Acts 24, verse 14 to 15. A famous verse, we use it every week or every other week, almost. But this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they call heresy, so worship I the Alua of my fathers, believing all things which are written in the law and in the prophets, and have hope toward Alua, which they themselves also allow, that there shall be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and unjust. And herein do I exercise myself, to have always a conscience void of offense toward Alua and toward men. So we tell people that we are followers of the way, but when you are a follower of the way, your conscience will be void of offense toward Alua and toward men. This is what we are called to do, people. I am not called to call you out your sin. That is the job of the accuser. To every day be telling you, that is the job of the accuser. I am not the accuser of the brethren. I am called to ensure you have a lively conscience, so that you will be void of offense toward Alua. Because your conscience will make you not offend the Most High and not offend men. Then you will be walking in perfection before the Most High. You have two entities, man and the Most High. If you are void of offense toward both, you are in perfection. That is why my calling, that is what I'm called to do. Understand, that is my calling. And that is the set apart teachers. That is how we are. People, the teachers out there who are telling you about law. Yes? We speak about law, but not law. Yes? It's a Mashiach that leads you into obedience to the law. Those who are telling you that to be righteous, you have to keep the law. or to be saved, you have to keep the law. Yes? Without saying you're saved through faith in a Mashiach. Without that being the primary thing, because they might say it, but they don't live it. Because we preach Yahusha, and because when you preach Yahusha, you walk in righteousness. Yeah? When you preach Yahusha, you walk in righteousness. So we don't have to say law. If you preach Yahusha, you'll walk in obedience to the law, because he walked in obedience to the law. What we preach is the conscience, void of offense toward the Most High and toward man. So when you are on social media running all over, where are you going to get this? And again, I'm not heaping on people to myself. I'm saying find the teacher. I'm just telling you the teaching that I got. And I didn't come up with this. It's the Most High. I'm just telling you, you go where you want to go. But make sure, yes, you try the ruach to see if it is of Alua. Okay. So the role of the leaders, teach walking in the ruach. You can go, I'm going to conclude it here. I won't go into this because these are too long. You can go into Ephesians 4, verses 11 to 32, Romans 8, verses 1 to 14, and you can read about the role of the leaders walking in the ruach, how we are to teach walking in the ruach, because these are all embodying what I just said about teaching walking in the ruach. All right? So, the conclusion. Get myself in line. The conclusion. Let me get this thing darkened. All right. All right, so the conclusion. There is, where is it? The conclusion. There is no condemnation for those who walk after the ruach. But there is condemnation for self-deceivers. So if you walk after the ruach, if you're walking in the righteousness of the law, walking in the righteousness that is in Yahusha, then there's no condemnation for you. Yeah? But if you are walking in self-deception, unrighteousness in any way, then you are condemned. If you are walking in iniquity, you are condemned. Self-deceivers, those who deceive themselves, lead themselves in the wrong paths because of their desires and their lusts and their unwillingness to face certain things, they are hypocrites. And hypocrites will be destroyed. So anyone that is a self-deceiver will be destroyed. There's no way into the kingdom for a self-deceiver. Okay? Now we are in the age of itching ears. You know that I didn't even do itching ears. I don't think I did it. Because itching ears is the embodiment of all of this. Because self-deceivers will have itching ears. Because they'll be running all over the place. Let me go and did I do itching ears? Did I? Did I really? Let me go and touch just that little part that deals with the itching ears, because I think this would really 2 Timothy 4 verse 3. I charge thee therefore before Alua and the Master Yahusha HaMashiach, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing and his kingdom. Preach the word. Be instant, in season, out of season. Reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. For the time will come, which is in this time now of Anti-Mashiach, when they will not, especially now, of course this has always been going on, but at this time it is even more heightened. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. This is social media right here. You cannot reprove, You cannot rebuke, you cannot exhort with all long suffering and doctrine, because people don't want to hear. People have set up their own set of self-deception, so they don't want to hear you. They decide what they want to hear, and if they don't want to hear you, they are going to let you know with a tongue lashing. So they don't want to hear sound doctrine after their own lusts. So they realize I can go on social media and I just go here, I hear this, and I hear this today, and it might sound hard, and then I just go somewhere tomorrow. Live my life. No change. Yes? Shall they heap to themselves teachers? Heap to themselves, add on, add, keep adding teachers. So they go here and they see somebody talking, oh, I can listen to this guy. And then they add him, subscribe to him. And then they go somewhere, oh, this guy sounds good. And they add. And then in their feed it comes up. And then depending on how the teaching sounds, that is how they get attracted. If the teaching sounds bland, nobody listens. You have to have, and then people now start coming up with some clickbait titles, etc., to get people using psychology now, knowing that if you put this up, people are going to want to come to it. That is where it's at. Because people have what? Itching ears. Let's go to some meaning here. Having itching ears. The word itching there means to scrape, to scratch. That is by implication to tickle. So you're hearing what you want to hear. That tickles your ear. When your ear is tickled, you giggle. Itching ears. Yeah? And they shall heap. The word heap there means to accumulate teachers unto themselves. Add more teacher on top of teacher. Having itching ears. And they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned into fables. Fables. What is the meaning of fables? What's the meaning of fables? Mythos. A tale, that is fiction, myth, fallacy. So that is what is happening today on the internet. They don't want to hear the truth. So they deceive themselves, moving from place to place, and are listening to fables. So there is an end time rise of the spirit of Antimashiach with its deceptions. But the Most High, Barak his name, has set apart chosen teachers to help to guide his people through, to overcome the ruach of Antimashiach. His teachers will teach the spirit or the ruach of the law, so the believers can have rule over their own souls and to operate in righteousness with others who have rule over their souls. Yes? So that is a synopsis of what we, at Just a Word, what we are here for, what we are about. If people are asking what Just a Word is about, to give them this teaching. That's what we are about. Yes? You have to know the manner of our escape, the way of our escape. Yes? Know your teacher. Follow your teacher. You know, there have been some people who have, followed this. Even someone following the lunar Sabbath. And I tell them, you're listening to me and you're listening to other people. It's confusion. You want to follow me, but you want to follow the lunar Sabbath. So you're bringing the lunar Sabbath to me because you want me to follow your way. Did the Most High appoint you as a teacher over me? Did the Most High appoint you a teacher? Are you a teacher? Then you have to figure it out. Who is my teacher? Is it that person who told me about the lunar Sabbath? Who is my teacher? Your ears will hear a word. Your eyes shall see your teacher, and your ear shall hear a word. When you turn to the right or turn to the left, this is the way. Walk ye in it. Know your teacher. You're on social media, find a teacher. Find a set-apart teacher. Your way to salvation is going to be very dim, because you have to have someone have the rule over you, and you must submit your soul to them, because they have been given the charge. They must give an account for your soul. Who is giving an account for your soul apart from you? Someone has to give account for your soul. Yes? And make sure that it's not itching ears. Make sure that it's not, oh, Kazak, I didn't like how he spoke to me. Someone told me that once. Yes? I didn't like how you spoke with me, and so I went to somebody. That's what social media does to you. Yeah? Leaders, teachers are dime a dozen. Room for rent apply within. Oh, when I run out of this one, then I run into another one. Yeah? Wake up, people. This is the end time. The spirit of anti-Mashiach is heavy in this world. Yes? Save your souls. Save your souls. All praises to the Most High, and shalom. If you have any questions on YouTube, you can post them, please. Yada Yahuwah. So the YouTube stream and the Rumble stream have gone through consistently. 64 people on YouTube. That's good. So the Rumble stream also is on. Facebook stream buckled as usual. Yada Yahuwah. Alright, so let me see if there are any. And you know, today I tried a different internet provider. That is why it stood up. Yeah. Different internet provider. And this one has withstood and being strong most of the time throughout. Alright. Big up Vodacom. Vodacom has been consistent. Telcom has been one big mess. Yeah? So it is. Alright. Let me go into Zoom and see if there are any questions. Alright. So we have... Alright. Let me see what's going on. Let me go back. A lot of chatting was taking place here. All right. Someone says there's lots of pretenders out there. We need to discern the truth through Scripture and Yahuwah's word of wisdom. Yes. I was considering self-deception just a few days ago, thinking I was closer to perfection than I really was. I was way off. All praises to the Most High. Well, at least you have accepted. All right. Oh, someone in here was smoking. I don't know what that means. Anyway. Alright. A good leader isn't always going to be nice. He's going to correct and have order. That's what makes him a good leader. We need our faults pointed out, and we need a heart to receive correction. I'm waiting on YouTube if you have any questions, please. Because we're going to go off if you don't. Verbal correction is less painful than physical correction. If the Most High has to do it, then that's a very powerful one. If the Most High has to do it, it is better we take correction from our brothers rather than for the Most High to do it. When the Most High does it, woe be unto us, because he doesn't play. Hey, he said is it in Isaiah or Jeremiah, I'll chastise you with the chastisement of an enemy. You would think it's the enemy when it's the Most High doing it. Yes. I really wish you were live in Facebook so I could share it. This is a great teaching. Okay. All right. Yeah, Aliyun. What's his Aliyun? Aliyun is, they are different, what do you call it, parts of speech. So you have Aliyun, Aliyenu, Alohekim, Alohe. It is Yahuwah our Alua, Yahuwah their Alua, Yahuwah my Alua, Yahuwah his Alua, Yahuwah her Alua. Those are where you get the variations of the Alohin, Alihenu, those things. So I don't remember exactly what Aliyun actually is. One good thing that the Sifa is good for, in the front part of the Sifa, you can get the different meanings of these different words right there, but I don't have it at hand now. All right, Eric Jackson says, I want you to help me. Okay. All praises to the Most High. I respect all your thoughts and corrections. If I'm in error, keep telling me and keep teaching me. I am listening. Yada Yahuwah. Jada, Shabbat Shalom, brother Chazak. Can I speak to you after the meeting? Thank you. Okay. How far is your assembly from Soweto, South Africa? We don't tell people where we are. Yeah. Okay. I thank the Most High for answering my prayer to keep Brother Kazak's computer resources up to the task for today's teaching. The scriptures have been clear on the screen and YouTube is running strong. All praises to the Most High. I'm happy for that. Yeah. As I said, that Vodacom really did it. Yeah. All right, Eric Jackson says he needs help. Yeah, we can, after this we're finished, and I can set up a one-on-one Zoom meeting with you to lay a foundation. Yeah. Now, Ziona, as usual, with her questions. Let me see this one. If your husband is a teacher and the wife is found out that he did something wrong, said something wrong, can she explain? Of course, she's there as a helpmeet. She's a helper. But how she explains it, Ziona, is important. She cannot explain it as if she's talking down to him like a little child. She has to explain to him that this is an error. Remember, you did this. You know, she has to explain it that way. Because remember that the order is the husband is the head. So, likewise, even if anyone does anything wrong, the word says, be ye in subjection one to the other. So if I am there with you and you see me doing something wrong, you show me that it is wrong, but it's how you do it. You don't do it in an abusive fashion, or you go trying to put me down, trying to show me to be this or to be that. Just speak to me that this is an error, this is not right. All right. All praises. right. All right, let me go over to YouTube and see if there's anything there. Yeah. Thank you for this teaching. Greetings from Canada, Northern Ontario. Praise Yahuwah. Thank you, great lesson, Sabbatia Esengo. Great lesson, all praise. I see the number 1044 and 1144 like every day. Anyone else seeing these numbers? Are you serious? Rachel, where are you from? Because I know someone had a dream with this, and I'm trying to make sure that this is not the same person. So Rachel 333, where are you from, please? Let me know, and then I will respond. It's very important. Thank you for your teaching, learning so much. Praise Yahuwah. I like this. This is my first time here. I shall be back next time. Thank you for this great teaching. What is your email address? Email address, boy, it is already being spammed. When you put the email address out there, they spam. All right. I'm going to put the email address. But I'm going to put a space. Just join the space. So the space between Kazakh and at, just join them up together. Because, you know, email address must not have a space in between. So there's the email address. So Rachel is from New York. So Rachel is not the same person. So man, this is very interesting right here. Because where is this dream? Someone sent me that dream. Where is it? Where's my phone? What did I do with it? All right, give me a minute, please. Let me find that phone thing. Man, where's my phone? Oh, there it is. All right. Let me find. I think probably need to find this one here. Yeah. Let me get my phone with that question about 1044. Let me read it again. I see the number 1044 and 1144 like every day. Anyone else seeing these numbers? A sister here, a South African sister, sent me this. Let me find it. With those numbers. This week we were speaking about it. We're trying to unravel this mystery. On the 16th of January, this is a South African brother sent this to me. On the 16th of January, my mother again had a short vision while napping. She saw 4 days written in cursive and yellow. 4 days from the 16th is today, which was the 20th of January. Yeah? And the only significant thing we could think of is the swearing in of Trump. But when we thought about how a day can be a year in the spiritual sense too, which would be 4 years from 2025. No, this was them working it out. This is not the dream. Let me see. Oh, here's the dream. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, it's way up here. That was them working it out. Elder, I would also like to share an open vision my mom fell into yesterday. It was an equation she was given. We are perplexed by it, and the only part we believe to be quite significant is that what it all amounts to. Here is the equation. 200 by 200. Can I put it on the screen? $200 by 200 by 30 by 12 equals 1,440,000. 1,440,000. So that, Rachel, is what I was exposed to this week. It's not quite the numbers that you put, but it's very similar. Now this one I think is very significant, because if you look at the numbers, it's 1,440,000. It's 144,000 by 10. And we know the significance of 144,000. Yeah? Let me get it. Which equals 144,000 times 10. Anyway, that's that significance of those numbers. So it's not quite your numbers, but they are very, very similar. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for your teaching, learning so much. Praise Yahuwah. I like this. Thank you for this. For the past year, I have been listening to Awakening Remnant, IUIC, and Just a Word in Learning. And yet my family said I'm listening to all of you because I have been changing for salvation. Help me, please. Mavis Brooks, you have to decide who your teacher is. Who do you believe? Is your teacher? Who do you believe? You talked about husbands. Yes, Mavis, so you have to choose. Most definitely you have to choose. You cannot be go around. That is confusion. That is confusion. I don't know anything about Awakening Remnant, but I can tell you, if you continue to follow IUIC is error, gross error. I'm telling you. And people like to say, oh, you don't say this about, it's true. You follow them, they're going to lead you to destruction. It's religion. It's Christianity 2.0. It's gross error, the amount of errors they have. You just need to look at our teaching sex on the Sabbath, and you will see us pointing out some of their errors. So I don't know anything about Awakening Remnant. If I believe someone is walking in the truth, I will tell you. If not, I cannot tell you that they are walking in the truth. Very sorry. I'll be a liar if I told you otherwise. You talked about husbands leading the wife. What if your husband is leading you astray when the wife knows Yahuwah's way is true? People like to ask these hypothetical things. See? So if the husband is leading the wife astray, the wife has to show the husband and try. This is why you need to be in an assembly with a teacher who is leading you the right way. What is happening? What is happening is that people are not in assemblies. The husband is listening here. The wife is listening here. The husband now is deciding he was not called to lead the family to Yahusha, because the head of Yahusha, of the man is Yahusha, But the man is to be in an assembly if he is not called to lead. 2, if you are not called to lead, if you are not a set apart teacher, you should be led. Very simple. Because what is going to happen? We are going to be what? Led into Zion. So if at this time going into Zion, we do not allow ourselves to be led, how can we be led into Zion? So what happens a lot of the time, they are not in an assembly. If you are in an assembly with a set apart teacher called chosen teacher, then the husband cannot lead you astray. Because if he is trying to lead you astray, that would mean that you can now go to the teacher, the leader, and they can meet with you and hear the things that he is telling you, and then we can straighten it out. But with the renegade lifestyle, husband is leading the wife towards what he thinks or what he believes or what he wants. Because our belief is usually dependent on our lusts and desires. So the husband might hear something that falls in line with what he accepts and what he feels comfortable with, and leading the wife in that way. And the wife knows that that is not right. But what can she do? You need to be in an assembly. You need to be led by a set apart teacher. And you need to actually emphasize that with the husband. What is knowledge and understanding that the shepherd will feed the sheep with? Knowledge and understanding of the word, of the way, the truth, and the life. Yes? How to walk in obedience to Yahusha, in obedience to the Most High. To attain unto Revelation 14:12, here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of Allah and the faith of Yahusha. Yeah. Happy Samba, all is a pleasure listening to the teaching. What if the man's family doesn't want to change? If the man's family does not want to change, he said, I will take you, one of a family, two of a city, and bring you to Zion. He said, if any man love mother, father, sister more than me, is not worthy of the kingdom. He said, I didn't come to bring peace. I came to bring a sword. I came to set mother-in-law against daughter, whatever, against whatever, family member against family member. What is it saying? If they don't want to obey, you have to decide to part ways with them. It's very sad, but it is true. It is a decision that I have had to take. And I am there on the outskirts trying to encourage them. But in the end, I will know that if anything happens and anything catches them, then I would have done what I am supposed to do. Yes? Can't say you didn't try, but you can, as they have a saying, you can bring the horse to the water, but you cannot force the horse to drink. Yeah. Is it in scripture that a woman is not supposed to teach? Yes, I think it is. What is it again? 2 Timothy 9. I forbid a woman to teach and usurp authority over the man. First Timothy 2, verse 12. Oh, the brain. 1 Timothy 2, verse 12. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. Okay? My family don't do Sabbath at all. They live in my home for 1 year, but it's difficult for me to show who we are and what Elohim is showing me to show them. They are awful. I know how it can be. Yada Yahuwah. But what you got to do, you got to live your life in righteousness and make them see a difference in you and continue to speak. Maybe someone will eventually listen, because they might not listen to you, but when they go somewhere, they might hear it, and then they might recognize that this is what I heard Mavis speaking about, and then you would have planted a seed that will eventually germinate. Let's hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Allah and live. Thank you, brother, for the powerful message. All praise to the Most High. Janelle Ellis, I would like to learn more. If you want to learn more, I have given my email address. Just look in the chat for my email address. Send me an email, and then we will take it from there. All right? Email address, kazak@justaword.org. Kimberly says, my sister always sees 444. I see the numbers 1222 for like 7 years, but I'm not going into numbers or signs generally. I'm not into numbers or signs generally. I'm just paying attention now after so many years of it. Rachel says, I do see 144 as well. All right. Can't go wrong listening to ruachs, Yahuwah's ruach. Yeah. Jumping on different channels makes you more into error. If Yahuwah gives you a teacher, stay and listen to the word and obey the Most High. That's it. Do you study the Torah, KJB, and the Strongs? Is those books? If so, should I purchase them? Yes, you purchase those things, but yeah. Purchase whatever books that will help your studies. I have decided to depart from my family, so I must give them the boot, okay? If a man gives out false information that is not true, well, if it is false information, it is definitely not true, and refuses to repent of it, will he then go to the lake of fire? The word says that all liars, Revelation 21:8, Revelation 22:8. Let me go there. Shall go to the lake of fire. It is repentance that is the key. Revelation 21:8, but the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. A sin that is not repented of remains a sin indeed. If we are too proud to repent of a sin, how can we expect the Most High to forgive our sin? Yeah? So we have to repent. We have to repent. Yada Yahuwah. Yada Yahuwah. Yes, DRD man, yeah, I have the information now. So when I'm finished, just remind me. Yeah. Okay, we'll deal with those, Nicole, when we're finished. My dreams are that the numbers 550 and 1. Mine is 875 and 1. All praise to the Most High from Saskatchewan. And so it's time to get off YouTube at this time. Thank you all. The reason I'm asked the question is because I am the only one who believes in Yahuwah in my family. I feel heartbroken over them. I kind of empathize with you because I kind of understand what you're saying. Someone says, how do you think Yahusha will react when our people bow down and worship him as Yahuwah in the wilderness? Now, the worship of Yahuwah, the worship of man, is sometimes very close to the worship of the Most High. So, people bow down and were prostrate before kings like David. That was how you honored kings, by lying prostrate to them, falling flat on your face with your head down, and bowing down before them. Yeah? But worshipping Yahusha as Yahuwah, that is totally wrong. The question is, will anyone in the wilderness be those who worship him as Yahuwah? That is the question. Because that is the spirit of anti-Messiah. Will he allow someone who is led by the spirit of anti-Messiah into the wilderness? That is the question. Because many are called, but few are chosen. And narrow is the way that leads to life, and few there be that find it. Yeah? And there are many that are created. This world was created for the many, but the world to come for a few. So who tells us that they will allow those into the kingdom? Because it tells you about the anti-Messiah that is going to cause the people to have a strong delusion, so that they believe a lie, that they all may be damned, that believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. Who tells us that the Yahusha is Yahuwah people will be in the wilderness? Who knows? It doesn't appear to be that way. All right? So we're over 3 hours. He said he would purge out the rebels, yes. Yes, in the first Exodus, not all made it to the promised land. It will be more than likely be the same for us. Yes, it is a purging, a purging, a purging. And that is why you have to follow a leader who is focused on Zion. Who is focused on Zion. Most of the leaders, most of the teachers are in Babylon, content to remain in Babylon. Content to remain in Babylon, and preaching and teaching from Babylon, and teaching nothing about Zion. They're not teaching about going to Zion or making any attempt to leave to Zion, to flee out of Babylon. Yeah? You have to know people who you follow. And as I said, this is what the Most High laid on my heart. This is not me seeking for myself, because anyone knows me knows that I do not like the responsibility. I do not like the responsibility, but I am seeing more and more that this is my calling, so I have to make the best and the most of it. Very simple. Alright, so shalom to you all on YouTube. As Kimberly says, hallelujah, praise Yahuwah, Yada Yahuwah, all praise is due to the Most High. And